Hi everybody, thank you so much for watching this recording. Sorry I can't do it live, but I am happy that you are here and watching. Today we're going to go over the 110 assignment again rather quickly. This is just kind of a recap. Our theme, this is my time. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. This is my time to work hard, to learn, to achieve, to grow, to prepare, and to have joy in my accomplishments. This is AZVA in pursuit of excellence, and my time is now. Our objective for today, together we will go over some last-minute details for the 110 assignment. We will also be going over characteristics of an argument, as well as evaluating reasoning. So your 110 assignment is due today, but remember, you do have until the locking date to turn it in. Some of you have already started working on it, which is awesome. Over the next couple of days, you do have a couple days to catch up on missing work, so make sure you are following the plan and working on your 110 assignments if you haven't already. All right, evaluating an argument. So this is a little excerpt from our class, and we're going to read it, and I want you to think about what is the claim and what's that supporting evidence. Daily exercise is critical for the health of teenagers in today's society. During the school year, teenage students spend an average of 6 hours a day sitting in a classroom and 3 hours a day doing homework. Many of these teenagers complain of feeling tired in the morning. Regular exercise increases energy levels. Studies indicate that teenagers who exercise at least 20 minutes a day earn higher grades. Exercise also means teenagers are spending less time in front of their electronic devices. Regular exercise is a natural solution for making today's teenager healthy. So what is the claim of this argument? So the claim would be that teenagers should exercise daily to stay healthy. And there's lots of different supporting evidence for this. They give us some specific examples, like an average of 6 hours a day, students sit in a classroom and 3 hours of homework. They talk about some of the studies that they've found. They indicate that teenagers who exercise at least 20 minutes a day earn higher grades. So there is some supporting evidence that they have found to support their claim that students need to exercise for overall health. This is important when you're writing your argument letter. Remember, you are trying to convince someone to do something, so you need that supporting evidence with your claim. Sometimes people create logical fallacies to help their arguments, but logical fallacies are not a good thing. They're a mistake in reasoning. They may include overgeneralization, oversimplification, false cause, and many other types of logical fallacy. It's the opposite of valid reasoning. Writers may intentionally or unintentionally use logical fallacies to support arguments. Logical fallacies may sound correct, but with careful consideration, they can be proven false. So we don't want to use logical fallacies, and I'm going to give you an example of what that is. So, valid reasoning. All reptiles are cold-blooded. Lizards are reptiles. Therefore, lizards are cold-blooded. This sentence uses valid reasoning. The first two sentences describes facts. The third sentence draws a conclusion based on those facts. Another word for that, remember, is inferencing. The logic follows, the conclusion can be proven, and the statement is valid. Invalid reasoning. My pet lizard is green. Therefore, all lizards are green. This sentence uses invalid reasoning. The first sentence is a fact, but the conclusion is illogical. One lizard being green does not equal every lizard being green. This is a logical fallacy of overgeneralization. So logical fallacies may sound right, but when you consider all of the facts, they are not. Again, looking at invalid reasoning, my pet lizard is green, therefore all lizards are green. Well, we know that there are other lizards that are different colors. Think of, a lot of those desert lizards. They're usually those brown and tan colors. So you don't want to use a logical fallacy in your argument. You don't want to just be making stuff up for people to believe you. Then it's going to be hard for them to trust your argument. So we're going to look at two different students, and I want you to think about which one is using valid reasoning and which one is using invalid reasoning, and think about those logical fallacies. Student A, eating vegetables helps people live longer and reduces the risk of obesity. If the government would provide tax incentives for cities to build and maintain urban gardens, more people would have access to fresh, affordable vegetables. This would reduce obesity rates and increase lifespans. Student B, many people skip vegetables because they can be expensive and difficult to find. If the government provided tax incentives for cities to create urban gardens, more people would have access to fresh, affordable vegetables. This could encourage people to include more vegetables in their diets. So student A is invalid. The facts are correct, but the final conclusion is based on a logical fallacy. It assumes that eating vegetables is the only contributor to obesity and longer lives. It also assumes that people will eat vegetables if they are available. Though it sounds like a good idea, urban gardens alone will not reduce obesity or prolong life. So it does sound like it's a good plan, but there are those logical fallacies. It is making it sound like not eating vegetables is the only reason people have obesity. And it tries to prove to you that if gardens popped up, then people would start eating vegetables. So again, this sounds like it's logical, but at the end of the day, it's using that overgeneralization. Student B is valid. The student cites facts and draws a reasonable and limited conclusion from them. For example, their conclusion, this could encourage people to include more vegetables in their diets. So in this conclusion, it's not saying that people will do it, but it will encourage them, that there's a likelihood that it will happen. All right, looking at that 110 assignment, what you need to do, I'm going to go over the directions with you. You're going to write a well-organized argument letter of 3 or 4 paragraphs on an issue that is meaningful to you. Directed toward a specific audience or person or group that is in a position to do something about the issue. Clearly state your issue and your position at the beginning. Use logical reasons and evidence to support your position. Include at least 2 of the 3 following types of appeals to convince the audience: logos, pathos, and ethos. Address possible counterclaims and end with a call to action aimed at achieving an identified goal. Use language in ways that will help convince the audience, such as rhetorical devices, appropriate vocabulary, an objective tone of formal style, allusions, and direct address. As appropriate, invent names for individuals, groups, companies, restaurants, and other relative entities. So if you are not sure what topic to use, they have given some for you that you can use. And you can use these, or you can use your own, or these may spark some ideas. Write to the president of a local or national company to argue that the company should do more to protect the environment. Write to the owner of a local restaurant to argue that it should change its menu to offer more healthy options. Write an open letter to people who buy pets at pet stores to argue that they should rescue animals from shelters instead. Write to the governor of your state to argue that the voting age should be lowered to 16. So remember, you're writing a letter in 3 to 4 paragraphs. You do need to use those persuasions, logos, pathos, and ethos. Remember, you want to convince your audience. Counterclaims, think about what people may object, what questions they may have. You want to be able to answer those. And remember to end with that call to action. What do you want people to do with that information that you have given them? This is very similar to your last paper last semester, but this is going to be in a letter format, and you're talking to someone specifically. So you're not just saying that, oh, cats are better than dogs. You are thinking of something specific, and you're writing to a specific audience. Here's the format of a letter. We talked about this in last class. It has your name, your address, your phone number, your email. You can make all of this up. This is just great practice on learning how to write a letter. So your name, I could put Bethany Neal. My address is 1234 Cherry Lane Anaheim, California, 97345, a fake phone number, and my email. Then, of course, I would put the date that I was writing this. And then you put the information of the person that you are writing to. And if you need to make this up, that's totally fine as well. Then you're going to have your greeting, dear Mr. or Mrs., and their last name, your information, and then at the very end, your sincerely, or thank you, or best, or however you want to end it, and your typed name. Now, obviously, you're not going to necessarily have your signature. If you want to do that on Google, like the Paint, not Google, sorry, like the Draw or Paint or whatever it's called, you can totally copy and paste that in as well. That's totally fine. So before you turn in your assignment, there is a checklist that I want you to follow. So, looking at all of these different expectations, the issue and your position on it are clearly identified at the beginning of your letter. You don't want to put a lot of fluff in this letter. You want to get straight to the point with specific facts and reasoning. The letter is directed towards a specific audience. Is this to the president? Is this to your teacher? Is this to your parents? You support your position with valid reasons and evidence, so you don't want to use those logical fallacies. You want to be specific. You use your language and rhetoric in ways that are tailored to appeal to the audience, so you have that professional tone. You use at least two of the following types of appeals: logos, pathos, and ethos. You address counterclaims, showing why your position is more convincing. You want to anticipate what other questions people may have and answer them before they ask them. Your letter, its claims, counterclaims, reasons, and evidence is organized effectively. Think about that organization of your letter. Your words, phrases, or clauses give your letter clarity and cohesion, so it works all together. You're not all over the place, and you're clear in your stance. You maintain a formal style and objective tone throughout your letter, so remember that professionalism. And you conclude with a call to action. This is important. This is telling the reader what you want them to do with the information you have given them. All right, so what is next? I am giving you a survey that is going to be in the announcements. If you want a couple extra bonus points because you attended this recorded session, all you have to do is fill out that survey and put the password donut in there. Again, that password is donut. What you need to do today is finish that 110 assignment. Your benchmarks. I'm still missing a couple benchmarks from people. So make sure you've completed both the course readiness checkpoint and that USA test prep. Work on that study guide for Unit 1. On Wednesday, we will be going over the Unit 1 test. Again, like I said, that unit review will be held on Wednesday. And if you have any questions, please come to Tutoring or Help. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this recording. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please let me know if you end up having any questions.